Hello, 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 and welcome to another Paul or Nothing spin-off show called Macca in Your Attic, where we're going to sift through the tit and the tat to find the primo Macca memorabilia. If this is your first time watching, the format is that me and a guest are going to go through their attic, if you will, and they're going to show me 5 fun, interesting, rare, valuable, or sentimental items from their own Paul McCartney collections, each hopefully with a unique story. Fortunately, the format requires the guest to be more interesting than me, so it should at least be better than the podcast. Today, everyone, I am joined by one of the 2 legs that make up the 2 Legs Paul McCartney podcast, aka not the direct rival to my show or anything like that. He is a true Beetle head and one of the very few people that you could actually say is a Beatle scholar. Most importantly, though, he is a true collector and one of the very first people I thought of when this concept first came to me in my mind, in a true flash of real brilliance of originality. Everyone, please welcome Andy Nicholes. Andy, what's going on, my friend?
Wonderful introduction, my friend. Thank you very much, Mr. Wiles. Thank you, Sam. That was one hell of an introduction. Hard to beat that one. But thank you for thinking of me for this spin-off episode. Immediately when you messaged me about it, I said, "Oh, I'd definitely be up for a game of that for sure."
Well, whether or not you were up for it wasn't really the question. For me, it was I just knew you were qualified. I knew that you'd have the stuff. I feel like one of those mobsters in a movie that sat opposite on the table. You got the stuff. I got the stuff.
You got the goods, man. You got the goods.
You got the money, and then there's just some guy like that with his hand tucked in a waistcoat like that. Oh, but hopefully it's not going to be that kind of standoff, Hopefully it's going to be a little bit more amicable than that.
Yeah, and I hope it's not too boring. I didn't just to tip my hand. I didn't go crazy with the memorabilia aspect or magazines or newspapers. I kept it fairly simple, but each item that I did pick does hold some significance, and I'm happy to share them. So I'm hopefully there's no repeats of other stuff, but maybe we'll see.
Well, vinyl is the most hashtagable thing in this show, so don't worry if it's mostly vinyl centric.
I'm hoping the vinyl that I'm showing is a little bit harder to come by. So well, hopefully your other guests don't have it all. We'll see.
I am excited. I really am, because vinyl is the stuff that is really inspiring me at the moment, as well as, certain things like CDs and cassettes. But what about you? When did you first start collecting Paul McCartney / Beatles stuff?
Going on almost 30 years, not quite. I started probably in 1990, right before the anthology. So 1994-ish, right around the time the BBC came out. I was about 13. So bought Red Rose Speedway on compact disc for about $12 brand new. And it started then, and I have not stopped. So 20 some odd years later of collecting, it's stronger than ever.
So was it like I am collecting this stuff from the get-go, or was there a transition where you suddenly woke up and you were surrounded by posters and CDs and vinyl?
No, it wasn't. So I wasn't surrounded. It was just it was a need for this stuff. This stuff is out there. I want to get everything ever created by this man and this group, and that was it.
So
I don't know. I didn't know at that time maybe any song on, say, Press to Play or others. And I said, I know it exists, but I have to go get it. And that's what drove me as a young collector and a young fan. And of course, then you just get them all on CD, and then you get them on vinyl, and then you get them all kinds of crazy formats, and you go on and on and on and on and on.
It's so exciting, those early days, especially when you're discovering the actual music as well. It's
right, because it's
so
not so
formative.
much, you're not really so much the collector. Then you're like, I like this because of the music. The collecting part of it is something you evolve into, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was definitely a point with me where, just buying the albums, and then suddenly you find yourself on eBay looking at different versions of Ue Soleil to get, and it's like, ooh, there's about 8 of these to get, and there's a 12-inch, and there's a C. Okay, how much is this going to cost me in adult money? It's not little kids, pocket change and Christmas.
No, this
anymore.
is like real money. It's not like getting one copy of one record. Now it's like, okay, well, I've got 4 editions of this Mccartney 2, Japan, American. I could use another country, maybe a Holland, maybe a German pressing. That's when it gets to this level that we're presently at now with everybody that listens to this show.
How many copies of Ram do you have officially?
I think at last count it was over a dozen.
That's a man after my own heart. And I'm going to be asking your co-host Tom when he comes on this show something similar. But who out of you two is the biggest collector, the most passionate, would you say? And what does he have that you don't, that you want?
Probably the suitcase, maybe, but that's about it. Tom's a little late to the game. Tom just started really collecting stuff in the last decade. So he's been playing a game of catch up, whereas I've been going since I'm 13 and I'm 40 and I haven't stopped. So, but to his credit, he's done very well for himself, collecting the picture sleeves of different stuff from all the different sleeves from all over the world. Pressings, so he's made up for himself, but he's got a ways to go still. And
no, but it's like tennis though. He's got a fantastic partner to play against here, so he's going to barrel through the early stages of the collecting.
No, phase, it ain't. But by his own admission, he was like he didn't really start getting into vinyl again, collecting vinyl heavily until 7 or 8 years ago. So he missed out on a lot of that wave of that late 90s vinyl, early 2000s vinyl, which kind of ties into some of the items that I have shown for the show today.
Awesome. No, it's funny because I've done a Tom Waits podcast and a Paul McCartney podcast, and you hit the early 90s and suddenly the albums you want on vinyl original pressings just vanish because CD fully sank the coup de grace blow into vinyl at that time.
But they were still being pressed
to play.
Yes.
In some numbers, but I can't find Bone Machine by Tom Waits around that time. You can't get a well-priced off the ground on vinyl. The Fireman, well, that's more like a limited release, but
right, wasn't more a commercial release, that one. Yeah.
But it's a period. Unless you want the Paul Sanderson Deliverance remix, that's probably the only cheap, obscure thing you're getting from that time.
Very true. Very true. So that kind of ties into a lot of what I wanted to talk about today, because that was such a scarce amount of availability of stuff, and you had to just grab it. Otherwise, if you didn't grab it when you saw it, it was gone.
That's what they want, though. That is exactly what the people at NPL and Capital and Apple sat there going.
And I grabbed it, and I was only a college kid at the time, and I bought a lot of this stuff. Or not even in college, but between chores and babysitting and all kinds of stuff you do, you don't have any of those big adult bills to worry about. So, okay, I'll spend the $30 on this record from England. Now, at the time, 20 years later, you think that's nothing. But when you're 19 years old, okay, $30, that's a lot of money when you don't have a proper job, right?
Yeah. I remember picking up Magical Mystery Tour for about £2.50 just before the vinyl boom here in the UK, and the man told me no one likes this album, no one cares about vinyl. I was like, cool, I'll pick this up. And then
£2.5, you got it.
So probably, what's that? About $4, something like that.
Right.
And now, everything's got that Beetle veneer. The vinyl boom happened, and now it's all £30-40 again just for a Beatles album.
Kind of pressing? Was that an original UK pressing, or was it the EP? Or
oh no, it was the American one, and I'm very glad it was the American one, because it's the superior record,
hands down.
I mean, it's funny we should say that. I've literally on the last episode with Hudson, which was also recorded today, I just needlessly changed the shirt because I couldn't bear the thought of someone seeing me in the same shirt in the thumbnail. But he mentioned that one of his favorite records is American Rubber Soul, and my heart just sank. It just sank because it's wrong. It's just objectively wrong. It's such a bad album compared to the British version. But we're not here to talk about that. I want to get through the patter, because I know there's going to be some long discussions over what stuff you have. Like, I feel like I'm going to be opening the Ark of the Covenant and those boxes at the end of Indiana Jones.
Jones, right?
And just some guy in his 80s just wheeling.
Oh, we are going into the Ark of the Covenant here for sure with some of these choices here. Shall I begin?
Just before we do, I just wanted to ask you, what's it like in I'll cut this bit out, but if any of my pre-questions do kind of cross over into that territory, do just skip over it, but I'll just end it on these last two. Can you talk me through? I don't mean to make you sound old here at all, because you don't look fucking 40 at all, mate. And that's not brown nosing. That's just a fact. Like,
Thank you, mate.
Talk to me about the pre-internet era, like not only in just acquiring this stuff, but knowing what to acquire. How do you know about some random single that was only released in Mexico? How do you get that in 91?
I tell you what, a lot of that is the kind of the Beetle fan magazine, which was edited by a guy called Bill King, which is an American publication. So you saw a lot of classifieds, wanted, looking for this version of this record. So that you'd see, or you'd go to the Beetle Fests where these were published, the conventions, the annual conventions that Mark Lapidus runs. Word of mouth that way. Roy Carr's the Beatles discography book, which was published in '76. Because again, in those early '90s, you're still pre-internet, so I'm still trying to learn what is the discography, what does it consist of, what do I have to get? I tell you what, I wish I had it handy with me, but I don't. On the American copies of the Red and Blue albums that Capitol put out, they put a nice little cheat sheet inside those albums that kind of told you what to get by the Beatles, what was available by the Beatles, and what was available by the solo Beatles, up to and including 1973. So, yeah, it was a nice little of the time cheat sheet to look at. It would just say, here's everything available by the Beatles you can get. Now this is just the Capitol stuff, not the Parlophone stuff, okay, because it's Capitol Records. But as a young fan, information like that was like gold, because you'd look at it and you'd go, okay, John Lennon, Shaved Fish, Walls and Bridges. Here's the catalog number. Here's that information was like gold, because you couldn't find it anywhere else if you didn't know. So things like that, fan guides, fan publications, and really just talking to family or friends who might have had a little bit of a wider knowledge base of music history, saying, well, you make sure you get this, that, and the other thing. And that's just a case of writing it down. So I was blessed to be surrounded by family, uncles with fantastic musical taste and genres of all kinds of music, and prog and everything else, and classical and jazz. So they knew a lot of stuff. So they had fantastic record collections. So I would just spend a lot of my time listening to what they had and then working my way through that way. But certainly in the pre-internet era, to your question, it was not easy, but those resources were available. And again, people older than me can definitely attest to that, because I'm young enough I've embraced the internet age, but some of those other people had it a lot harder than I did growing up, say a Beatle fan in the 1970s. Okay, it was even more limited then.
I think you might be at that prime age, though, to see the difference between that analog age and the digital age now, because you can just go on eBay and go Chopper pink sleeve, right, Chopper purple sleeve, Chopper dark red, Chopper light red.
And I tell you what, too, and VH1, we're talking about the visual medium of television, okay? VH1, I used to live for those as a kid, especially right around the time when Flowers in the Dirt came out. Whenever Paul had a new album out, starting with about Flowers in the Dirt, VH1 would go full on with what they called a Mccartney week. And they would show promotional films all week long. They would show Rock Show. They would show Broad Street on loop. Okay. And when Flaming Pie came out, this was promotion. This was news. This was headlines. This was 24/7 Maca on a cable news music channel. And it was just, you'd see every promo video coming up, silly love songs, Live and Let Die. I would just sit in my bedroom and watch it all and tape it on VHS. That was, and then of course in '97, Paul does, that great, In the World Tonight documentary, which was, and then he does the Town Hall. So now again, that was things like that on VH1, and television were almost just as good as anything you'd find in print to read, because that was like, okay, here's the latest Macca news on VH1.
It's easy to romanticize that era for someone like me, but it does just sound a little more fun than the lack of access. It's not fair that a new fan today can just go on YouTube and be like, "Love My Baby," the unreleased track from the one hand clapping sessions. That's just there. It's just there.
The struggle. See, it made you appreciate what you found back then, because it was a struggle to get to get this information, and then B, track the music down or the video or whatever you're looking for, and then like it. Because sometimes if you got it, you say, toss this, or this is crap, I don't like this. So, these were all gambles. You couldn't just YouTube it or Google it and listen to it. If you found a bootleg and you paid $30 for it or more, you were rolling the dice. Was the quality going to be good? I mean, these were big gambles that people paid back in the day.
I couldn't imagine being stiffed and getting a piece of garbage record. That just sounds terrible. You can't hear a thing, and you're never going to find that back alley dealer again. He's off. He's 2 states away now.
Exactly, and that was so. But the journey and the struggle to find this music, more often than not, I'm happy to say, was better than not. So of course, occasionally you get burned, but more often than not, it was great. I could, just a side note, I could tell you that, just as an example of this, I remember discovering a song called Once Upon a Long Ago on Paul's old website, which was called mplcommunications.com, way before his own site.
Oh, wow.
It was just, if you just went to, that was Paul's official site. You went to it and it had a catalog of all of his music, and it had actually 30-second samples of all of his songs, using a little media player called Real Player. I'm dating myself here.
I know. I remember Real Player.
You do. So I remember seeing Once Upon a Long Ago. I knew that it was a UK only thing. I said, let me hear this song. I played it for 30 seconds. I said, I have to get this record. I don't know where I can get it. Called 10 record shops between New York City and New Jersey. Found a guy that had it, drove to New York to get it. And that's how I got Once Upon a Long Ago. So, I mean, it's stuff like that illustrates my point.
Just the drive from New Jersey to New York. I'm just picturing The Sopranos opening credits, but to the music of Once Upon a Long Ago,
Pretty much.
Driving past Satrials.
Yeah, pretty much.
And but it's got the British the Society for Protection of Old Buildings stuff, but it's the blue plaque on Satrial.
The little blue badge on plaque on there. Yeah.
I wish I could remember what it's called, the National Heritage Society or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. With all of that out of the way, I'm shaking. I really am. Andy, please show me your first item. What is the first thing you've taken out of your Macca attic?
Okay, first thing is probably the most recent thing, and it's a little heavy, but give it a sec here.
Heavy? Oh my gosh, what could it be?
It's a little heavy, but here it is.
Oh God! Oh, fuck you! Oh no!
Here it is,
folks. If you don't know what this is, you've been under a rock. Oh my God.
This is it. This is the coveted Wings Live 71 to 70, Wings 71 to 73 box set from December of 2018. Now largely.
Don't look at it, Marion! Keep your eyes shut. Oh my God.
This is one of my pride and joys right here.
It's everything I wanted it to be. It's I actually don't want to even look at it in case I scratch it or something. Oh my gosh.
This is now, I didn't realize this was around I can't believe it's almost going to be 3 years ago already. This came out. It was like $400, I think, or 400 and change. And I remember talking to Tom about it. And at this time he had gotten the coveted suitcase around the same time. Mm-hmm. And I just said, you know what? This is like Red Rose Speedway is like my favorite Paul album ever. I'm like, I have to get the Uber box set of this period. And boy, am I glad I did. I just, it's God, it was worth every penny. I mean, just the book alone. And again, Paul really kind of just, screwing everybody over there with throwing a live album exclusive to the box set.
Oh, don't even. No. The worst part about that is that obviously there's a code that I think you got where you can listen to it on Spotify.
Is that right?
I believe so, because it is listed on Spotify, but it's like you need a certain code to access it. So you can see it there, Wings over Europe. It's like, just a little closer,
Yeah, but it has not come out. I mean, there it is by itself. It's God, I mean, beautiful. Even a replica of the tour book in there from the first, which actually I even have a real copy as well that I got when I was in England. But man, what a lovely period, and it's been reassessed and reappraised. I mean, a whopper of a box, Bruce McMouse, Blu-ray, and a DVD in here.
Oh my God.
I mean, everything.
It must have been Christmas when it came in the post, yeah?
It was. I think I turned my mobile phone off. I turned everything off. I said, I don't want to be bothered for about 2 days time. I said, I need all the time I can find with this box set. And God, I mean, and it's incredible. It's the Red Rose Speedway. So I take it you don't have this. You don't even have the box sets by themselves, or no?
No, I've got 2 old market copies of Wildlife and Red Rose Speedway. However, in my local HMV, the biggest in the world, the one in Birmingham,
yes,
there is a copy of the 2 individual things that you
boxes.
Could buy. Yeah,
you could buy, which I believe my co-host, he didn't opt for this box. He just bought them standalone, which I'm really surprised. But I thought he would go for the, this is Mr. Tom Hunyadi. He sees it, he goes for it. But I have to say, one of the coolest pictures I've ever seen of Macca is this one in the book. I absolutely love it. This one.
Oh, what? Why have I never seen that? That needs to be more widely circulated. It's so cool. It is. Yeah.
I mean, that just says it all.
That is 1971 Wings Over Europe, classic McCartney. Oh my God.
So it's a recent find. I'm very proud of it. I mean, I looked it up on the other day. It's still going for like stupid amounts of money on Discogs and eBay.
Yeah, is it like over like $4,000? I've seen it go for in some places, I'm sure.
Wow. I checked on Discogs website the other day, and there was one copy for about $1,800 US. So
no, it was one of those click and purchase now on eBay where like I think someone gets a bit hopeful and just thinks,
I'll throw
but
it's so shitty though. That's how many people bought these though and just turned them and flipped them and just threw and just marked up the price on them. That was
McCartney 3 all over as well. I mean, that's
the third man yellow and all that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what Jack White wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's the white ones that are still going for like £100. The violet one going for about £120 as well. It's still ridiculous.
It's still ridiculous. So, but that's my first one, the Wings Live box set. Again, not that old, but boy, it's one of my pride and joys for sure.
Oh no, that needs to be preserved. That needs to be kept in an ice fortress in the Antarctic. Oh, sadly though, it's not one of those things that you can buy 2 of to have one to play with and one to kind of put away.
No, it's not. Unless somebody's made of money, and maybe there are people that bought multiple copies. God bless you if you did.
Were you able to?
No.
You want? Yeah, I was going to say yeah. 2 brothers, perhaps.
maybe, but I don't think you could. I think it was just limit 1. I think.
My gosh, no! I do remember on Twitter the furore, the panic. There was a real scramble, almost like when Paul did that secret gig at the tavern, and there was an assault on that poor Liverpool ticket stand.
Yes.
Yeah, and like there was probably some person who was just coming to work that day, and then suddenly 2,000 ravenous McCartney fans assault the border. Very funny. Right. I'm not sure how you're going to top that, but I'll say that with trepidation. What is your...
Well, I'm opening up with a bang and I'm finishing with a bang. I've strategically gone through how I'm going to present I've chosen 5 things. So I've opened up with a bang and we're going to finish with a bang. Not that 2, 3, and 4 aren't sentimental. They are, but they are highly collectible. And I do, cherish them for individual reasons on their own. Item number 2.
Here we go.
Is an original UK pressing of Flaming Pie from 1997.
Oh, that's so funny. So again, Hudson today, he just showed me his reprint copy of Flaming Pie.
A reprint. Now this sucker is an original.
Yeah, people. Oh, another flaming pie. Look at that.
An original one, and I tell you what, the half speed remaster though is better than this because this is one of the cases where the vinyl is actually just the music is just too much. It's too long for a record, so it just doesn't, it's a little bit, it just sounds a little bit too compressed.
Right.
Whereas the recent half-speed remaster that we got last year is beautiful. Not that this isn't not, and this is an amazing record, but this is an example of 90s vinyl and kind of the quality control going out the window, because there wasn't that much of it being pressed. And I mean, this is even before the 180 gram. This is just a regular LP. This isn't heavyweight. This isn't anything.
Wow.
It's just a standard LP. And I tell you what, it was always, and I bought this again in New York City, and imports that came from the UK were not shrink wrapped ever. Ever. They were never shrink wrapped. They would be in plastic and they would be on the shelf, but they were not wrapped in shrink ever.
That's so strange.
They never were. And again, I did have another copy of this record. I had a Capitol copy, a Capitol Records American pressing that was sealed, which I kindly gave to Mr. Ethan Alexanian, because he did the artwork for our thumbnails for our Two Legs webpage. And as a thank you, I sent him that copy. I paid $10 for it as a 16-year-old. It killed me. It didn't really kill me to part with it, because I knew he would appreciate it. And I already had an original UK pressing of the album, which again, I've had it for 20 odd years and I've played it maybe a dozen times. It's still in great shape. It is one of my favorite McCartney records. It's dear to my heart because, again, the McCartney week that I was telling you about, VH1, the presence of Paul on television at this time, all those emotions come flooding back to me when I hear this record. So, having an original UK copy of Flaming Pie, again, which you can't find these days, is just why it's still very sentimental to me, on top of it being great music.
I'm now thinking, did both Ethan and Hudson show me copies of Flaming Pie, or am I totally Mandela affecting?
I know that Ethan did.
Yeah.
Ethan did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Ethan! If that was you, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to get dragged off stage for that one.
Oh, so it was Ethan that showed it, or Ethan or Hudson?
Possibly both. I'm
because I don't know, because of Hudson, I guess Hudson might have the recent remaster of Flaming Pie.
And then Ethan has the other original. Yeah,
Ethan has my original.
Everyone's got a copy of Flaming Pie on vinyl,
except Sam,
except me. Yeah, I mean, when I was when the Flaming Pie reissue came out, I was listening to When There Was Fab, and they were just talking about how much is in that set, and I'm like, that's too daunting even for me. Like, I don't. That's too much. That's actually too much to buy. I think I've actually reached the point now where, yeah.
Well,
dial it back slightly.
You're not wrong. As a quick side note, there's been so much product in the Beatles world out, even in the last year. Okay, so forget about, like, you've got so much. I mean, Flaming Pie multi-volume box set. Okay, loads of tracks to go through. Lennon's Plastic Ono Band, 6 CDs. Okay, now you've got Harrison's thing coming out. It's all this stuff coming out, and I'm from the era where you only got to release a major release once a decade, maybe. That's why the anthologies were such a monumental period in the Beatles' history, because with the 1990s, it hadn't really done too much. So you could build up to that, and it was this big event of the 1990s, the Beatles getting back together, the anthology's done. Now, and you could absorb that and digest those 3 CD sets over the course of the years, because you could do it. Now, since 2018, we've got the White Album, a 6 CD box set with a Blu-ray. Abbey Road box set. Okay. Yeah. Maca Archives, Lennon Archives, all within a 3-year period. And to me, I feel like it's a little overkill to agree with your point. I'm not even halfway through Plastic Ono Band still. It's so much to get through, to your point. So it's like, I could see why you'd be overwhelmed with it. That's a lot of material to get through, because there's just how many hours are there in the day, man?
Yeah, and it's not like those 3 camps, at least solo, McCartney, Lennon, Harrison, are working together at all. They might do a little bit of a let's not release stuff on the same day collusion, but aside from that, they're going, no, we're not going to wait till McCartney's released all of his product and then start releasing all of Lennon's. It's 50th anniversary for all of us. We're all putting this stuff out. I mean, the Ringo's Rotogravure box set, 10 discs, 14 Blu-rays. How much is it going to cost,
And I really think a lot of it is, I think, because we're at the age of now physical media is no longer desired. So although there's people like us who like it, But I think the time to have capitalized on this stuff was like probably 10 to 15 years ago.
Oh,
when they could have been pumping
don't
this.
Say that. Don't say that. It could have been. It would have been beautiful.
Because you would have had, because physical product was more in demand then. It was before streaming really took over the world. If they had been pumping out these box sets 10 years ago, even 10 years ago, 2010, and you would have been fine. 15 years ago, they would have been killing it. 20 years ago. But okay, time goes on, and now you get these magical, milestone anniversaries of the magic number of 50, and all of a sudden, the machine, the machine starts. So, but we buy it all.
It's no. Like to further your point there, like if anyone's doubtful of that, look no further than like Beatles 1. Like that album, like no one was screaming for that, no one was clamoring for that album to be put out, and it just did the numbers. It just destroyed everything in front of it. Beatles Love did very, very well as well.
Well, let's look at that. Let's look at the chronology. Okay, it all kind of really gets going with the Live at the BBC in 1994. That's kind of the potboiler to test: is there a market for Beatles product in the 1990s? Does very, very well. The anthologies, mega blitz, mega successful, multi-release television special. I believe it was on ITV in the UK. It was on ABC in America. It did well. 3 double CD sets, okay, in 95, 96. Beatles 1. I'm sorry, Yellow Submarine 30th anniversary comes out in 1999. More Beatles product. The one release comes out in November of 2000. It's still the best-selling Beatles albums of all time. Let It Be Naked, 2003. The Love Project, 2006, and on and on and on and on and on we go. So it's become a lot.
Yeah, Let It Be Naked's a weird one in that chronology because it's quite a modern release, I guess. In terms of like this kind of concept re-release. I guess with like the CD reprints, if they were more concerned about just getting the catalog out there. I mean, like even with like a lot of the McCartney CDs, the most you'd get is they might put something like Daytime, Nighttime Suffering on Back to the Egg, and that was all you got.
And that was all you got. You didn't get Goodnight Tonight on that, which was a pity because they should have thrown that. But no, let's throw that on McCartney too, which makes no sense.
Oh no!
Let's have a quick look here. Let's see. Yeah. We throw Daytime, Nighttime Suffering on that one, but we don't. But we put Goodnight Tonight on this. I mean, okay, whatever.
No, isn't Country Dreamer on both Band on the Run and the Ram? Or the Red Rose Speedway one?
Country Dreamer is thrown on the first edition of the Red Rose Speedway, original 1987 pressing. They threw Country Dreamer on this one, but then also threw it again on was it the Band on the Run archive edition from 2010, which is where it really should have been.
Oh, that's its true home. But yeah, another one of those songs that kind of sorely gets bandied about everywhere, like Komm wir lieb dich Hand or something like that. We'll just put it on this compilation. We'll put Sie lieb dich on this compilation over there. People want it. It's obscure enough. Right. After a wonderful Paul or Nothing-esque digression there, let's moving
on. More scarce, hard to find vinyl.
Let's do this.
Okay. And I'm willing to bet you haven't seen this yet on your show. And if you have, you have, but I'm going to say probably not. Okay. And here it is, the 2LP Driving Rain.
Oh my God. Oh,
the double LP.
Yeah. Ooh. Whoa, Nelly! Oh my! Yeah. Oh, I've never even seen the back of it. Oh wow!
Yeah. Which just mimics the CD. So here's or it's Thriving Pain, as Joe Mayo calls it. Look, it's even got the date. It's even got the price sticker on it from when I bought it. I mean, you can still see it in there. Hold on. Can I show it down?
Oh wow! $29.98
in December of 2001, which is right after the album came out.
Oh my God.
$30 US, which at that time was a lot of money. But this, now pocket sleeve, 2 records, but no gatefold. Okay. With both records in here.
Okay.
Got red on one here, pink on the other.
Oh, that's like the pink from the My Brave Face and
exactly.
And the Flowers in the Dirt sleeves. That's gorgeous.
Oh. So it's a nice LP. You know,
that's beautiful.
Double LP, Driving Rain. And I don't even think my co-host has this one. I've got the leg up on him on this one. But yeah, this one was hard to come by. But it's all there. Play it every once in a while. Not one of my favorite records musically, but again, I was collecting. I'm like, okay, McCartney's got a new album out. It's on vinyl. I know it's going to be this one shop I know will get, again, this came from the UK, same place I bought the Flaming Pie, because there were no domestic pressings of Driving Rain. There was a Flaming Pie, but Driving Rain, no way. No, I guess this one will be, a lot of people are going to wait for the re-release on if there's an archive edition for this one. I just hate the hype sticker on it. Driving Rain, the brand new album from Paul, includes From a Lover to a Friend, great, plus an added track, Freedom studio mix, which we all know should not have been on this one. But no, it's nice. It's got a nice spine and everything. It holds up quite well. Yeah, I might play it once every few years, not often. This is more of a collector's item, but I take a lot of pride in it now, because at the time, I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy a McCartney album. And then you start seeing people on forums and looking for Driving Rain, and you're like, okay, I bought that, 10 years ago. What's the big deal? And now it's like, okay, now you want it. Now you want it. So yeah.
See, I'm feeling quite self-conscious. I've got nothing to say, but just wow, that's cool. I feel like Chris Farley in that SNL skit.
In the SNL.
Yeah. Do you remember that time you showed me that Driving Rain album? Oh my god, that was so cool. Yeah.
But yeah, it's again, it's a nice one. It's definitely rare. I'd probably going for a couple hundred on eBay, according to my co-partner there.
Ooh.
He checks every once in a while. It is still going for a few $100s. Scarcely produced. Again, not Macca's finest hour. Some lovely tracks on it. I don't revisit it all that often, but well worth the $30 I paid for it in 2001.
How fire safety conscious are you?
Considering I'm a volunteer fireman, very
good. Do we have a fire extinguisher near this collection? I need to know. Good. I needed to know that. That's fantastic.
We do.
No, because that's one of those thoughts. What would you grab if there was only one thing to grab? Is that your next item, or would it be something else?
No, that would be the last thing that I'm going to show, which will be two things from now, not the next one.
Oh,
but this one would be in that I've got to grab it pile, for sure. This next of now, this would be a copy of Wings Wildlife. Okay, standard. Okay, regular American pressing. Okay.
Yeah.
What's unique, and this one has a very, very, very cool personal story to it until I flip it around and you'll see. Okay, it's been signed, personalized to me by two members of Wings.
Oh,
Denny Lane,
wow.
Denny Lane and Denny Sywell, different times at the Beetle Fest over the years. So that's Denny Sywell's personalized to Andy. And then there's Denny Lane's saying, "Hi, Andy," on the back. Now, I didn't wait in line, all kinds of crazy hours. I saw that Denny was at a local fest or the 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were gonna sign stuff if you had something. I said, well, let me go to some vendor and buy a $5 copy of Wildlife, because I didn't have anything. And I hate getting CD booklets autographed because they're tiny and chintzy. So I said, well, let me go find an average copy of Wildlife and just go stand in line. And that was where I met Denny. And I have a photo of the two of us, him signing it. I got that in 2010. Denny Sywell was a couple years later at a different time, and he looked at it and he goes, "Oh, so you got the other Denny on here, huh?" I said, "Yeah, that was a couple of years ago, Denny." So, and I told him that when we interviewed him for the Ram On, anniversary recording. So, very, very. This is one of my prized possessions for sure, to have two of the first members of Wings, personalized autograph copy of Wildlife. This one's pretty special.
Damn, that's pretty fucking fire. That is. I'm very jealous of that. It's funny. You should mention grabbing something for someone to sign. There was a very small Comic-Con in inverted commas here in Birmingham, UK, and it wasn't Alan Moore of Watchmen, but it was Dave Gibbons, the guy who did the drawing, who did the art for Watchmen. Very, very, like the graphic novel, really. And I got my copy signed. That's now kept in a little piece of plastic, for a posterity. And my friend Ryan was with me, and he's, I guess, in more conventional circles, a cooler guy, but he's definitely not. And he was just there with us. And he just had a Starbucks. Oh no, was it? No, it was a Subway cup, a Subway like cardboard cup.
A cardboard? Not one of those cheap, crappy cardboard ones, really?
He went, can you sign this? And he did. And it was no idea where it is. It's probably in a landfill somewhere. But I just felt bad for Dave Gibbons. Like, you've spent your life doing this amazing art, and then some whippersnapper from Birmingham, UK, comes up and gives you a Subway cup, like the most commercial thing ever.
Commercial, non-personalized thing. I have to say, autographs, I'm not too big on. I'd actually prefer photographs with a celebrity. Then I get a little cheesed off. Excuse me. With autographs, they're okay. Some people love autographs. There's crazy autograph hunters. I'm not. I like them, and of course, I treasure them. But I'd much more prefer a quick selfie or a photograph with a celebrity. It's easier. I'll sign this. It's just so not personal. Take a photo, that's forever. That's like, I love my photo with Denny Lane probably more than I love the autograph, to be honest with you.
It's also better for them in terms of like social media presence and stuff like that, because then that person will share that photo and it's going to go out to the world.
It's like I've gone to several meet and greets of concerts over the last couple of years. I got to meet Steve Hackett from Genesis twice, and he remembered me, and like he takes the photo. I got to meet one of my all-time idols, John Anderson, the lead singer of Yes. That was like meeting the Messiah 2 years ago. And I have that. Like he signed some stuff, but he also took the picture. And to me, the picture is always worth more than the autograph. I always feel.
I've got a picture with a selfie of me and Mark Lewison. It's blurry and out of focus, but hey, it's me. It's me and Marky Mark. So
what was that? One of his talks?
That was at Hornsey Road, shall we say?
Hornsey Road.
Horny Road, yeah. And he was just waiting downstairs, and I remember he said, "Oh, you should tell me about your podcast." Then I went, "Almost certainly not. Definitely not."
That was back when he was entertaining going on podcasts, not anymore.
Yeah, no, he's definitely in the I'm busy writing tune in mode now,
which he should be. That's fine.
No, but like it's not like he's George R.R. Martin, where it's like, okay, I'm not going to do Tune In Part 2. I'm actually going to do a prequel book about Buddy Holly, and then like tie it in, and there's going to be themes and kind of imagery that will create a through line through to Tune In, and then I'll do Tune In Part 4 in 2043, something like that.
If he's still alive, hopefully.
It must be horrible to be a person who was asked a question like that.
Oh, it must be. It's will you be alive then? Oh, gee, I hope so.
Like no one's ever said, Sam, what happens to Paul or Nothing if you die? And it's like, well then obviously my fans go into a blood rage and try and destroy the earth. Obviously, that's that's the only logical conclusion. Well, hopefully it would be deleted. I guess.
Listen, well, all the episodes will be up there in posterity. So if we leave this earth, that's where they are. If you'd like to hear us ramble.
No, but I'm worried my soul is also kept within the podcast, like Sauron and the Ring, and it needs to be destroyed before I can, find
the mouth of Sam Wiles,
the mouthpiece of Sauron,
the mouthpiece of Sam.
I'm just like that.
Yeah. I just watched that film not too long ago again, and it's still great after all this time.
This motherfucker watched the extended cut as well. If he's talking about the mouth of Sauron as well.
That's right. That's right. And that should have been in the main theatrical cut as well.
Man, have you ever gone back and watched the theatrical cut of Lord of the Rings? It's
after the extended? No.
I
can't.
It's a trip. You're like, wow, they didn't convey nothing to the audience in this.
No, like, boop, boop, boop. That's the only way to watch it, man.
There's some guy called Frodo, Ring, something about a Dark Lord. Yeah, it's literally what Sam says. Yeah,
right.
That's funny.
Great films. That geeking out.
No, but Right. Before I go on to a whole digression about ring wraiths and stuff like that, next
the
item.
Nazgul. The next item, the last item. Oh boy.
Hang on, I'm turning my light on for this because it's actually gone from day to night in the time it's taken me to do this episode.
Has it? Oh, okay. There you go.
Some nice.
This I shouldn't even actually have this on in my house. This needs to be probably in a safe deposit box somewhere. I shouldn't even have it on me. That's how important this is to me. But I haven't gotten around to bringing it to a bank or something. But I really should. I'm gonna do a little teaser. I'm gonna do a teaser again. Okay. Hold on. I have a box here. Hold on. Come on.
Oh, you just hear you drop it and smashing on the floor. It's like, oh.
No. Here we go. So we've got here is a copy of Paul McCartney, The Space Within Us. Okay. Standard DVD. Okay. Nothing crazy. The 2005 tour. Okay. What you don't see is the slipcover of The Space Within Us, which is a personalized autograph from Paul to me that says to Andy, signed by the man himself. There it is.
Have you never told me you have this? What the hell?
This is item number 1. And again, I shouldn't even have it in my house. It needs to be somewhere else safe.
Are your hands clean right now? If you've got any dirt on those fingertips,
they're clean.
I'm gonna be. Oh my gosh.
They're clean. I had to take it out of the glass. It's in a glass case. But
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that.
Personalized.
Thank you for showing me this. Oh my gosh.
This is my pride and joy, and there's a little bit of a backstory with this one. I can't say that I waited in line 24 hours to meet the man and do it. Okay, I did not. A buddy of mine waited in line to do this, and very sneakily had 2 copies with him, and Paul signed the one.
That's
and said,
great.
Can you just sign this other one quick for my friend Andy? He's a crazy fan, but he couldn't be here. Could you please just, because he was just signing them, Paul McCartney. He wasn't personalizing them. And he kind of just asked him and said, could you personalize this for my friend Andy? He loves you more than you do. And said, oh, okay, mate, sure. And he just took out another pen and scribbled to Andy.
In a different pen. Pen. Paul made 2 seconds of effort in his life for you.
For me. And I can die happy. Again, I didn't meet him, but my buddy waited online, I think for 24 or 36 hours, and he did it for me. So kudos to him back in the day that he did this. But the Paul autograph and the personalized one to me is my pride and joy. And this one, when they put me in the pine box, this one's coming with me.
I'm feeling dizzy. Right now. I'm shaking. My vision's blurry. My tongue's big in my mouth right now.
Now,
my gosh.
Of all the things people have shown you, have they shown you a personalized autograph yet?
No, they haven't. That's going to be hard to top. I think, folks, there's going to have to be some sort of gimmick. On Top Gear, they've got that list of the best times of all the cars, and it's like just the coolest items at the top of this list at the moment. Slam is the signed The Space Within Us DVD. Yeah,
and again, it's not an album, it's not a 45, it's not a book, but it's something that Paul signed to me with my name on it. And God, if I had been there in person, I probably would have dropped dead.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good thing I wasn't there.
That's insane. Oh my God.
But this, that's
such a pull. That's such a pull.
It is.
I just love that other DVD copy you have as well. Like it's almost like like say if like someone broke into your house and was like, Nicholes, give me the Space Between Us DVD. Like, here, take it, and then
here you go, take it. I have what really matters.
Yeah.
That's why I teased it with the that one first.
My God.
But just a couple of items from the attic, sentimental ones for me. The other leg. But I hope you enjoyed them.
I certainly did. Is there anything out there that you don't have that either got away or that you do want?
Yes, and the other leg, Tom, just got it. I'm super jealous of him because I've been trying to get it for about 20 years, and I have the actual record. I don't have the sleeve, and that's the Temporary Secretary 12-inch, the 12-inch single.
Yeah. That might be the worst news of the day, actually. To hear that Tom has that and I don't. It's not like I stole the music for the theme tune for my podcast or anything. Oh my gosh.
That I've got a copy. I've got a copy of the actual record in a black standard 12-inch thing, but it don't have the sleeve. And he got it a few months ago.
With that fantastic artwork on the front. That is incredible.
Tremendous art. So I might do a little search again, and maybe I'll treat myself to that one. But I might take it easy with the Harrison box coming.
Oh yeah, I might. I might see what the old Patreon fund next month says, because for me not to have it is a cruel irony. I feel like you know when
you have to have it. You gotta have that. You need that record. You have to get it.
Up until now, I've never understood what characters in Game of Thrones meant when they said birthright. But like me owning that, it's like I need to raise an army and storm a record store and take back what is rightfully mine.
And that's, I'm telling you, that's one you got to get. And I think he might have paid about, I don't know, I might have been $60 US, maybe 70. I don't. It definitely wasn't $100 US. It was under 100.
No, £50 is about the going rate here in the UK,
which is about probably $75 US, right?
Yeah. Well, I think there was only about 10,000 copies ever made of
Yeah. So that's a big one that I'd like to the near miss that I just would have liked to pull the trigger on. The other one is something else that I've probably seen at shows over the years, and I just, for whatever reason, I didn't pull the trigger on it. And again, my co-host has a copy of it, and that's the Run Devil Run 7-inch box set, which he'll probably show you. And that's another one. That's another hard one. And I haven't had too many opportunities for the temporary secretary. I've had probably half a dozen chances at Run Devil Run, and I just funds life. I just couldn't grab it, and now, of course, I want it.
Have you got a 12-inch of Pretty Little Head?
Yes, I do.
Oh, another knife in my heart. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
No, that's one I've definitely been after. You know what? A little callback to earlier. How many copies of Ue Soleil do you have? How many different pressings?
Just one, maybe two. I think just the one. No, I think I have two. I have the main single and then the one that was the B-side. I'm not big on all the variations of Ue Soleil. I'm not.
Yeah, I want that orange one. That really.
Oh, nice. You like the orange one? That is a nice looking one.
Yeah, because it just looks like no other Paul McCartney release that I can really think of, you know?
Fair point. Yeah. I mean, listen, God bless you if you want to get all those different variants. And I'd like to think I'm a little bit of obsessive of Paul McCartney, but I'm not going to track down all 8 versions of Ue Soleil. Just because I don't, if I loved the song, then I would have gotten it. It's like if there were 7 or 8 versions of the Good Night Tonight 12-inch single, I would have snapped.
Oh, that missed opportunity. That is, they could do that now, and I'd buy them all.
Yes, little disco feel, the great cover. I mean, if they had done that with Good Night Tonight, back with Daytime, Nighttime Suffering, and 5 or 6 different variants, I'd buy them all up. But Ue Soleil, the club dance stuff, I'm just not really into it. So one copy will do for me.
Have you got a copy of Through Imagined arriving within the next 10 days?
I don't, because I have no desire to listen to that record. I don't.
Interesting. Hot take, folks.
I don't. I have no desire in the reimagined aspect of McCartney 3 whatsoever. I can't even be bothered to add it to my Apple Music for my streaming. I don't even. I heard a couple of seconds of the Find My Way cover or whatever the one Beck did, and I'm still absorbing the record proper. We're going to rank it on our Ranking the Tracks this week. I can't dive into a cover record on the heels of a brand new McCartney record. That's where the oversaturation kills me. So I have no desire to get the reimagined. Are you going to get it?
I've got my gold one on the way. HV exclusive. Can't wait. I've really enjoyed the record. I really have.
Okay. I'm glad you like it, because I just can't get into it. I'm glad somebody likes it.
Yeah, I mean, it had just enough recognizable faces for me to want to get it in the first place. I was like, yeah, I know who St. Vincent and Josh Homme are, but I've been introduced to like Khruangbin and stuff like that now, and it's been worth the journey. But it does feel very Spotify generation, as in like this was put on shuffle and recommended to you.
Of course it was.
And
that's how it is now. Oh, recommend this, recommend that. Oh,
it's an algorithm. It's an album rhythm.
It's an algorithm, Big Brother is saying, okay, well, Sam likes this. He listens to this. He listens to this. So listen to this.
Now that's what I call McCartney 3 in a way.
Yes.
No, it's interesting what you say about oversaturation with that release, because there was no sense of oversaturation, oddly enough, with the Explorer and Traveler editions of
Egypt Station.
Even
because
though
you know what, that was right, but those releases were spaced out.
So you know what? The passage of time, we've had 8,000 lockdowns. I can't exactly remember. So between McCartney 3 and 3 Imagine was what, 3 months with the actual release of the streaming of 3 Imagine?
Yes, because the album's been able to stream. So December 10th or 12th, McCartney 3 finally drops, and all the 10 different versions you can buy of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Christmas time, the holidays come in, March or April, now you get Reimagined to stream. Well, the album only just came out 4 months ago, and now you want us to go to absorb a whole new reimagined version of the record? I'm still trying to get my head around it.
Mm-hmm. And then what was the gap between Egypt Station and the Traveler and
Egypt Station dropped in September of 2018. At the end of somewhere in the middle of 2019, I want to say in the summer of 2019, a year later, you got the Traveler's edition with the.
Was it that big of a gap?
It was a year gap, so there was space. I'm sorry, not the Explorer, not the Traveler's edition is the suitcase.
Yeah.
The Explorer's edition was just about a year later.
Wow.
Because, and I have it handy.
Oh, beautiful!
I have it handy.
I love it. It's a gorgeous cover.
It's a great cover. This of course is the go-to version, because you had the album drop proper in June of 2018. Then you had the Get Enough single drop on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day into 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think come June or July, this came out, because you had Get Started, Nothing for Free, Frank Sinatra's Party, 62nd Street, the Who Cares full length, Get Enough. And then you had at the end of 2019, the Record Store Day release of In a Hurry and Home Tonight, which also come from these sessions. So this had a little more room to breathe in terms of here's the new record, here's an extended version of the record. McCartney 3, there was a few months. That's my point.
I've said this before on the podcast, but I'm sure there was a source that said the McCartney 3 sessions yielded 20, 30 songs. And then 6 months later, when he's talking about 3 Imagined, he goes, oh, well, I guess McCartney 3 was a kind of bonus sessions album anyway, because I was just finishing stuff off. Where are these other 22 or 12 songs?
I mean, you only had 11 tracks on the album anyway. You could have, I'm saying, there's more, there's more sitting in the can that he could put in there.
Yeah. I mean, people in 78, 76, when he comes up to them with hot hits and cold cuts, hey, I've got extra stuff. Do you want me to put out product for you? And they're like, no. And could you imagine saying that to a modern boardroom executive with the shareholders? It's you've got another album. Cool. We'll put it out now.
We'll put it out right now. But in 1978, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Because time changes, right? And that's 40 years ago. And of course now, it's the Beetle brand. So that sells. In 1978, 79, Paul is kind of decidedly, not cool with a younger crowd and a younger marketing firm. So nah, just, we don't need your stuff. Just keep putting out your one album a year and that's it.
I try to empathize with people, Andy. I really do. But the people managing Paul's career and his output between kind of 79 to borderline 93, I'm just why are you not just investing more faith and energy in this man? There is an alternative universe out there. It's a utopia, Andy, where Paul McCartney's post-Wings career was nourished and none of the major disasters of the 20th century even happened. It was all avoided. Freddie Mercury's still with us.
Yes.
Oasis never broke up. Eminem stopped making music 20 years ago. That
would have been fine too, right?
It's a beautiful world, and I know we're both making that point for different reasons, but that's besides the point. Andy, we're not going to get off topic. Thank you so much for showing me your items today.
No, thank you for having me on.
It's been awful, really, for me to sit here and basically be shown what I don't have. you know, like.
Well, you're getting inspiration. So when you hit it big on your Patreon, you've got your wish list of things you want to get.
Yeah.
Make a list and make it happen and go get it.
You know, I mean, I'm not sure if you have the equivalent over here. Like, I know there's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire overseas, but we had a show called Bullseye, which was a very low rent, kind of cheesy, crappy game show. And if you didn't win, he'd say, "Well, let's have a look at what you could have won." And
God!
And they'd bring the speedboat onto the stage and mock you with it. And I feel like I've been put in the stockades, and it's like, "Hey Sam, can you listen to Wings Over Europe?" Oh, you can't.
Hey, listen, mate. You know, you signed up for that when you wanted to see people and other people pull items in their attics. So
what have I done?
You had to know the odds are that people were going to have stuff that good old Sam wanted but doesn't have.
Oh no! Anything Sam doesn't have is something Sam wants. Just inherently, I am not a very mature person. I'm incredibly shallow, and I think we're going to end it on that note, because I always like to end on the truth. Andy, where can people find your stuff, bro?
We're Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast on YouTube. We're at 586 subscribers, I think, with a weekly show, and we're doing quite well. We're by the time this goes out, I'm sure that our Ranking the Track series will have ended. Tom and I have spent the better part of 8 months weekly ranking McCartney albums, track by track, and we're doing quite well with that. And so that's been weekly, and we've also been dropping pre-recorded shows once a week as well on our YouTube channel, and also on Podbean and Amazon and Apple Podcast and all those other fantastic places where we are. So we're continuing, doing our shows and keeping our content up, and we take the occasional break here and there because life happens, but we keep rolling on. So that's where you can find us.
And I've got to say, this show probably wouldn't have happened without Two Legs, because whilst we are rivals, I also see you as a source of inspiration. And I was looking at a lot of your views, and I was like, I bet there's something else going on here. And then I was like, oh, not only are we very similar in our Podbean downloads, but they've got this. They've got a YouTube community that I'm not exploiting. Right, I've got to get on this right now.
Well, I think we bring the best out of each other.
Yeah,
I think that's healthy, and that's good.
Oh, I mean, I'd love to have a love-hate relationship, but it's just a love one. It really is. And I look forward to every new episode of Two Legs, whether that day I'm checking out The Enemy or just looking for a good Beatles podcast. I always have a good time. So,
Thank you, brother. And much continued success with your Patreon channel. And I hope that really goes well for you. It's a different venture, but I hope you really do well with it. I mean, how long have you been going at it now?
I've just passed 20 patrons now, which is pretty,
okay.
which is pretty fun now. Which is like, because there's the kind of there's 1% of Patreon people who have like 700,000 subscribers. Then you've got the 99% who have no subscribers, and then you've got the other 1% kind of stuck in the middle that have between 20 and 1,000, and
that's where you are.
And I'm in the lower end of that now,
Right. Well, but you've only been at it only a little bit, right?
Yeah, kind of pushing it properly, and like as in having a Patreon worth subscribing to. That's not just, hey, do you want to chuck a couple of dollars at me a month? This is, oh, now there's content, which is this now. And the anxiety I had over like all of my closest friends having podcasts that they can do like 7 a week because they've got a set formula and they're just talking.
Wow.
That's something that I've always wanted, like not Paul or Nothing, where it's 12 hours of research and 12 hours of editing and doing retakes and finding out that the audio didn't work properly. This is a much lower stress version of that.
And this
show.
Is nice because it's like you said, like as you say at the top of your show, it's actually a chance for you to sit back and not do as much research and let your guests do the talking.
And also, as much as I like to hear my voice for 3 hours, it's not for everyone. So sometimes it's nice to do a bit of a run and gun like we've done today.
Yes.
Andy, dude, you know, you're always welcome. I'm hoping to come on two legs soon in the future, of course.
Absolutely, we will do it. So
yeah, you know, there isn't anything left to say because I've said it all before. I love having you on. Can't wait to speak again. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Thank you, Sam.
No more autographs.